Welcome back to Master Glass. I am Livio, and on this episode, I am super excited because we are going to the UK Pavilion at Epcot in Disney Orlando, Florida, where I was just recently, and I was able to drink these two cool drinks at the Rose and Crown pub. And so the first one is the Leaping Leprechaun. The second one is the iconic Pim's Cup. And let's get into it. Okay, well, I am excited to make drinks today for UK in Epcot at Disney Resort in Orlando. What I have chosen to make today are two drinks that were at the Rose and Crown pub, which are the Leaping Leprechaun. The Leaping Leprechaun is a watermelon, or I should say a melon, a Midori melon flavored drink with a few other spirits and topped with some Sprite. And then I'm gonna make a Pim's Cup, which was also served there. Now the Pim's Cup is a classic cocktail from the 1800s. However, we really don't know the exact recipe to it. So I'm gonna make both, and I'm gonna improve upon both of them as I know best. Now, another thing I'm gonna do here is I'm going to make both drinks simultaneously. One of them is built while the other one is shaken, but I want to make them simultaneously, and I'll show you how, because I want them both to be served at the same time, which is the optimal time if you're serving two people. You don't want one person sitting there with the drink and another one waiting. So the first thing I'm gonna do, if your ice is not really cold and strong like mine, wait for the very end to fill with ice, but I like to fill at the beginning if my ice is really great, because when it's time to pour the drinks, I want to go. I really don't want to have to put my vessels down and fill the glass with ice, or the cup in this case, and then fill it up. So my ice is right here, my glasses are chilling. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna make a lemon sour. Now again, one drink calls for the lemon sour, another drink calls for Sprite, and we're gonna use that quasi as a lemon sour along with this Fever Tree soda. So to make the lemon sour, you've probably seen me make it on this show before, but if you haven't, it is equal parts of lemon juice and simple syrup. And what is simple syrup? It's equal parts of sugar and water. So right here in this container, I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze one full lemon. Now, as you all know by now, a lemon that is room temperature is going to be less stingy than a lemon that is cold. So these are room temperature lemons. I want to maximize the amount of flavor or juice that I can get out of them. And by pressing them here and letting their oils fall inside of the juice itself, I'm also going to maximize the flavor. Now, chances are at Disney, they're not using fresh lemon or fresh sour, so this right here is already the first improvement. Now to this, right, I'm gonna measure, I should do this in a jigger, but coincidentally, it is right at the 2-ounce mark of the lemon juice. So now I'm going to take liquid Alchemist simple syrup, which is a premium simple syrup made with cane sugar. And I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 ounces in here. And now what I have is what is called a fresh lemon sour, okay? Oops, set that right there. I'm gonna give this a nice little mix. Okay, lemon sour ingredient made. I'll set that right over there. Okay, so to make the Leaping Leprechaun first, I'm gonna go ahead and set this tin right here, and in this glass, I'm going to put about 2 1/4 ounces of these ingredients together. I'll walk you through it right now. The first ingredient that I'm going to add is Jameson Irish whiskey, a 1/2 ounce. This drink calls for 4 different types of alcoholic ingredients, so you wanna go really, really low on it. 1/2 ounce of this, we're gonna put a 1/2 ounce of Skyy Vodka. That brings us to 1 ounce of booze. I like to keep it at about 2 ounces of a spirit, but since Midori is lower, we can go a little bit over the 2 ounce. So now we have a 1/2 ounce of Skyy Vodka. That brings us to 1 ounce in our shaker. Now we're gonna put a 1/2 ounce of Q Cristal Rum from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And we're gonna set that there. So we have 1.5. Now this drink, the way Disney makes it, it's really green, leads me to believe there's a lot of Midori in there and there's a lot of Midori flavor. So I'm gonna add 1 ounce or 30 mils of the Midori melon liqueur, just like that, okay? Alrighty. Now this drink technically could be built, which is what is called when you make it directly in the glass. But these glasses are really hard to work with, and I'm trying to kind of make it, elevate it a little better, and make sure that the ingredients are mixed. Now in here, I am going to add. So right now I have 2.25 ounces. In here, I'm going to add 2 ounces of my sour mix, my lemon sour mix. Okay. And now that right there is just gonna sit until I am ready for it. Why so? Because in my glass here, or in my cup here, I'm going to build my Pim's cup. Now the Pim's cup, as I mentioned, was created in the 1800s. We really don't know the exact recipe, but what we do know is it's Pim's. Sometimes they use ginger ale, sometimes they'll use lemonade, which by the way in the UK means sparkling lemonade, a la Sprite, 7-Up, but mostly actually lemonade with a little bubbles to it. Sometimes people will just use 7-Up or Sprite, but what I am doing here is I'm gonna make it a little better, so I'm gonna crack this bottle, and in here, we're going to take our jigger and we're gonna pour in 2 ounces or 60 mils of Pim's number 1, and we're gonna set that right over there. Now in here, where is the sour mix? We're gonna take this right here, which should be our wonderful 2 ounces of sour mix, and we're gonna just pour it all the way in there, just like so, okay? This is our half of our quote unquote homemade lemon lime soda or sparkling lemonade, whatever you wanna call it, whatever they call it in the UK. And then I'm gonna top the rest of it with about another 2 ounces or 60 mils of Fever Tree soda. More premium, definitely a better combination than trying to just throw in a high fructose corn syrup, non-natural type of a product. So this one here, right, can be mixed now and ready to go. I'm gonna set that aside. And so now what I can do is, this one here, all I really have to do is add my ice to the shaker, roll it in here, give it a quick shake. All right. And this drink here as well is topped with Sprite. We don't need the sour mix to make our own Sprite anymore because we added it to the shaker. So we're just gonna pour this right just like that, and we're gonna top it again with our own little soda. Okay, so you see how these two drinks pretty much are coming out at the same time. Now a couple things that need to be done here. First things first, this one here calls for a very simple cherry. Now you have the translucent cherries. This is the one you get at in Disney. It's much festive and beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and use a Luxardo one simply because I have it. If I didn't have it, I would use a translucent cherry. I've used them before. They're not ideal, they're not great, they're not perfect, they're not wonderful, but I can't tell you I've never used them before. So why couldn't I use them again? So this one here is ready to go. And now over here, when it comes down to the Pim's Cup has a garnish galore. You can garnish this however you want, but traditionally, a really nice way to go about it is to add a couple of cucumber slices, which by the way is exactly what they gave me at the pub in Epcot. A little half a strawberry, and then right over here, let's grab a nice little mint top, smack it around, and put it right in there. And there you have these two drinks. Now, the cool thing about traveling Epcot or traveling the world through Epcot are all these amazing drinks. I do want to remind you that this was my second step. So I started the opposite way. I started with Canada first instead of Mexico first. So I'm going the other way. And so before the UK, I was in Canada. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave the link right up here so that you can take a look at it. Now, I think the good news is I get to taste these and I get to be the judge of them. So first one right here is the Leaping Leprechaun. It's all there. It's all there. Some of my closest friends will confirm this. I am sort of a Midori closet drinker at times. I just love the liqueur. It's got bright flavors. It's delicious. It's a thing. This drink here is super refreshing and definitely a less cloying and brighter upgraded version than the one that I had at Disney. Very good. And now with what is a wonderful, classic, genuinely low alcohol European style cocktail, which is the Pimm's Cup. Oh yeah. And it's so interesting how the Pimm's Cup just maintains a touch of fruitiness, a little bit of rootiness. It's a little more serious, even though it looks a lot more playful. But nonetheless, it holds up very nicely to that refreshing part of it, which is why it reminds me when I was there, I was sweating, it was so hot. But thanks to these two, we were genuinely refreshed. So if you did like this episode, please give it a like. If you enjoy Master Your Glass, please go ahead and subscribe. By the way, next stop, we're going to France, so please stay tuned for that. And do come back to Master Your Glass with me, Livio Lauro, where you get expert instruction for everyday consumption.